Yale is famous for its residential college system, but we take a look at how going Greek can mean going home.
Also this week we sat down with a very familiar face, Kevin G from Mean Girls.
Stay tuned for these stories and more. It's your Yale, your week, and your news. Hello and welcome to YTV. I'm Michael Leopold. To start, we'll go to Stefina Yuli in the newsroom with this week's headlines.
Thanks, Michael. This year, Yale received 30,227 regular decision applications for the class of 2019, the second highest number of applications ever submitted to Yale. Although there were 705 fewer applications than last year, this year's figure is still 55% larger than the 19,000 applications the university received for the class of 2009 10 years ago. Yale, along with the other Ivy League schools, will release its admission decisions on March 31st. Some students have criticized Yale's policies on withdrawal and readmission, which they say discourage students from temporarily leaving school. But while much attention has focused on the stigmas and technicalities of the withdrawal process itself, some have voiced concerns about what happens after they decide to take time off and the financial costs associated with trying to return. Students interviewed described the process as inconsistent and confusing. Over the past year, Yale Dining has lost over 3,200 mugs and spent $90,000 to replace dining hall materials. According to Director of Residential Dining, Kathy Van Dyke, Berkeley College, for instance, is currently missing 394 of its 400 mugs. In response to this crisis, some Yaleys are throwing a mug party in an effort to encourage students to return the mugs. The mug party will be held at 9:30 on Friday in Berkeley Entryway G and is open to all Yale students. In fall of 2012, just 30% of alcohol-related emergency transports were initiated by students who were not freshman counselors. But last fall, after the introduction of a new medical emergency policy that focuses on safety rather than discipline, that number rose to 51%. The MEP states that if any student calls for help for an intoxicated student, none of the students involved will face disciplinary action for alcohol violations. That's it for this week's headlines. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Stefina. According to the Yale Macmillan Center, women now outnumber men in global university attendance and graduation rates. Yet they still receive lower salaries, have fewer employment opportunities, and own fewer businesses than their male counterparts. The Yale Women's Leadership Initiative aims to counter this by providing Yale women with the resources for success in the future workforce. We go to Wayne Zhang and Rebecca Faust for more.
Sheryl Sandberg, Hillary Clinton, Oprah Winfrey. Leaders like these are testaments to the fact that women's roles in society have drastically changed. Nonetheless, women in the workplace continue to face unique challenges and obstacles to upward mobility. This Saturday, hundreds of Yale students will come together to empower women to overcome these challenges at the 7th Annual Women in Leadership Conference.
So the goals of the Women's Leadership Initiative, WLI, is to bring out the potential of a leader within each woman.
But there definitely still exists a disparity between men and women in leadership positions in the workforce. There has been immense progress, of course, with the changing social notions of what it means to be a woman and what it means to be a man. But of course, there's still many structural barriers and even social barriers.
The conference will feature panels covering women's issues in several career fields, from the demands of medicine and law to Silicon Valley's male-dominated programmer culture.
This year's theme is We Women. We Women, first and foremost, stands for the collaborative nature of female empowerment, so We Women Together. But We, W-E, also stands for Women in Power, so the second meaning of our conference is Women Empower Women.
Conference organizers made every effort possible to recruit an accomplished group of women from diverse fields to speak at the event.
The speaker lineup for this year includes Anne Choquet, the former editor-in-chief of 17 magazine, Claudia Chan, who is the founder of She Global Media and does her own Remarkable Women series, Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty, a Russian pop star, every woman leader imaginable in her respective field.
Student leaders will run the panels to ensure that the event is a conversation between leaders and students, not a lecture series.
One way we're really trying to make this two-way dialogue conversation happen is we've invited a lot of student leaders on campus to moderate the panels that their organization fits into. So for example, the leaders of SWS are moderating the finance panel, and the founders of Net Impact are moderating the social enterprise panel. We also have a student who is going to be speaking on the programmer panel.
So women's issues are everyone's issues. This isn't just a matter of women needing to come together and talk about these issues that all women have. Male, female, heterosexual, homosexual, like all kinds of people need to come together and talk about these issues because it affects everyone.
The conference will take place from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Yale Law School. For YTV, this has been Wayne Zhang and Rebecca Faust.
For more information, or if you'd still like to register, visit www.yalewlc2015.com.
Every year, the senior class raises money to give back to Yale, expressing their gratitude for their Yale experiences and their enthusiasm for supporting future students. While many seniors in the class of 2015 have already made donations to this year's senior fund, others are resisting it by organizing a formal boycott. Reporter Peter Chung investigates.
On Tuesday, January 28th, Lu Chang Wang, a junior in Silliman College, committed suicide. Jeffrey Smith was one of her friends who has decided to organize a protest in response.
The story Lu Chang painted was one of unimaginable pain. Pain made worse by the fear of what Yale could do to her. She was afraid that if she should come to a professional and reveal the full extent of her illness, she would be asked to leave Yale again.
While the YCC in March 2014 released a report with recommendations to improve the university's withdrawal policies, the administration has yet to reform. Jeffrey and other students are organizing a boycott of the senior class gift.
I still cannot feel like it is honest to give, or that it is good to give.
Lynn Anderson of the Yale Alumni Fund said, "We are aware of the boycott. It is not our role to be involved with how students choose to express their concerns. They should do what they feel is right. We respect students' decisions to not donate to the senior class gift."
Clearly a campaign that the Yale administration takes seriously. The primary point of the campaign is then a symbolic one.
Smith stresses that the money raised has little impact on the total alumni fund, but rather serves as a symbolic affirmation of Yale as a whole. A committee to reevaluate Yale's mental health standards will convene this week.
Pressure on the administration at this point in time could be decisive in making the reforms robust.
Although over 50 have boycotted the gift, some seniors still gave to the fund at the opening event at Shake Shack.
So the campaign launches today, February 4th. This is the kickoff event. It closes February 25th. Anything over 90% participation is considered exemplary.
So I'm donating because I wanted to be able to give back to Yale in a way that will help students in similar ways that I've been helped here at Yale.
I decided to donate unrestricted because I know a lot of people are very interested in financial aid. I know sometimes other areas might kind of go unnoticed.
I absolutely adore Yale. These have been the best 4 years of my life, and it's really important to me to give back to the school that's given so much to me.
Some seniors acknowledge the importance of reform, but still see the gift as an opportunity to support future Yaleys.
I think what's important to understand is that you're not giving back necessarily to the Yale administration, you're giving back to students who are coming behind you and students who can really use this money.
If we reach certain levels of participation, we secure scholarships for incoming freshmen.
However, Smith maintains that this is a crucial moment for reform.
Yale University has time and time again failed its mentally ill students. It has done so despite repeated calls for reform. We cannot endorse Yale, and not endorsing Yale in this context will put direct pressure on the administration.
Jeffrey reiterated that the fraction of worth that the senior gift provides to the alumni fund would be better used as a symbolic protest of the university. The petition in honor of Lu Chang can be found on the Yale Ideas Facebook page. For Yale TV, this has been Peter Chung and Nicole Daly.
Last year's senior class raised over $33,000 and had a 96.6% participation rate.
Pledge season is in full swing, and across the country, going Greek often means going home to a frat or a sorority house. But at Yale, most brothers and sisters go home to residential colleges. Raleigh Cavero takes a closer look at how many Yaleys still manage to bring Greek life home.
Caroline and Taylor are sisters in just about every way but blood.
So we're always trying to come up with fun sisterhood events for Pi Phi to do.
They didn't even know each other before becoming sorority sisters, but now you can often catch them in matching outfits at mixers. They moved in together this year after meeting through Pi Phi. Now they're sorority sisters, suite mates, and co-workers. Yes, they are president of Pi Phi and vice president of student events.
That's your president-VP meeting, is yelling from bed to bed.
Bed to bed yelling is the best form of communication, I think.
Taylor and Caroline aren't that unusual in Greek life. Many sorority sisters and frat brothers take their Greek lives into their colleges.
And a lot of people end up in the sororities they're in because that's the kind of people they like to be around, and that's the kind of people you like to live with, so it kind of ends up meshing that way.
Yale is unique because most sisters and brothers don't live in the Greek houses. Many Greek systems across the country have chapter houses where new pledges are encouraged or required to live.
I think the nice thing is that, in my experience at least, Greek life is pretty inclusive at Yale to people that aren't involved in Greek life as opposed to other schools.
So even though Greek life doesn't usually involve formal housing at Yale, informally, sisters and brothers often find ways to live together.
So I think I've definitely noticed that many people who do rush wind up living with their suite mates or living with people in their sorority, but I think that probably just speaks to sort of how nice a community the sororities are and how they're able to make such close friends through it that they want to live together.
Many mostly Greek suites didn't start out that way. A lot of these groups rushed together. 4 of the 6 students interviewed for this story rushed with their suite mates, and all of them now live with their Greek sisters or brothers.
My suite mate and I are in the same sorority, so that was just really fun that we got dressed together and we walked over to the mixer together and then we talked about it afterwards, and it was just really fun to a new way to bond with my suite.
I think maybe the thing is it's easy to get excited about things when other people are getting excited with you.
But despite these Greek groupings in the colleges, most brothers and sisters say that their residential life bridges the two communities.
I definitely haven't noticed that it partitions off people in sororities. I think it's just more kind of reconnects everybody in different colleges.
Even Caroline, president of Pi Phi, chose to live in her college instead of the house.
I know generally the president lives in the house, but I decided not to next year just because the residential college life is such a big part of the Yale experience and because I have so many friends who aren't in my sorority who I also want to live with. But I definitely think that you can sort of replicate that environment of living in a sorority house on campus by living with girls who are in your sorority.
In fact, it was in their Saybrook dorm room, on the beds that would someday hold their meetings, where these two convinced each other to run for Pi Phi leadership. You could say that residential life helped create their sorority life, and vice versa. For YTV, this has been Raleigh Cavero.
The past 2 years has seen a record number of Yaleys rush. This year, more women rush sororities than could be admitted.
And as always, we conclude with our Everybody Has a Story segment. This week, Cody Pomeranz sat down with a very familiar face from the big screens. His name is Rajiv Surendra, but he is most commonly known as Kevin G, the well-loved math enthusiast and, quote, badass MC from the hit Mean Girls. Here are a few highlights from that interview.
And the last one, do you remember the rap?
I do, bits and pieces of it. I don't perform it, so...
Well, I was going to ask, I know that you don't perform it, but what your favorite line from it was?
My favorite line was actually cut.
Really?
Yeah, it was, Mean Girls was written and the script was very, very crude. There were a lot of dirty jokes and there was a lot of cursing. It was actually going to be rated R. And then as we were filming, the studio decided that the target audience was much younger than a rated R audience, so they started having us cut out lines and jokes were changed. So Made Out with a Hot Dog was originally not made out with a hot dog, it was doing something else with a hot dog. And
we'll leave that to the imagination.
Exactly. And in the rap, there was a part that went, "It ain't no trick, I am this slick, all the 9th grade ladies want to suck my what?" And that was cut.
Why would they cut that?
Well, it wouldn't have made PG-13.
Oh, that's fair.
So.
And one more, do you ever wear pink on Wednesdays?
No.
Rajiv Surendra, keep doing your thing. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Cody. Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
And thank you for joining us. As always, I'm Cody Pomerantz. This has been Everybody Has a Story. We'll see you next week for an Everybody Has a Story with Vice President Linda Lorimer as she steps down from her position.
To watch the full interview, go to the Yale Daily News website.
And to conclude this week's segment, we leave you with a little sports cheer. This weekend will surely be another interesting chapter in the saga that is the Yale-Harvard rivalry. Both men's hockey and men's basketball are hosting Harvard and are set to square off in games that'll have title implications. This week, reporters Caitlin Kiker and Harrison Tracy found out how Yaleys are displaying their Bulldog spirit.
Thanks for watching. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
In anticipation of these big games, we took to the streets to drum up some school spirit, working on our fight song and some new cheers.
As you may or may not know, Yale's playing Harvard in both hockey and basketball this weekend. So to get some school spirit, can you give us your best rendition of the Yale Bulldog fight song?
Bulldogs woo, Bulldogs woo, Eli Yale.
Bulldogs.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bulldogs, Bulldogs, bow wow wow. Eli Yale.
I just remember the
Buddha, Buddha.
It's like Eli Yale.
I was like, wait, Bulldog, Bulldog, bow wow wow, Eli Yale.
Bulldog, Bulldog,
It's like a
bow wow wow.
3-minute song.
We love Yale. Our team will never fail.
Oh.
Graduate student, they don't let us come down and do fun stuff.
I don't even know our fight song.
You don't have any idea?
I'm not a real student. I'm a senior. This is my last semester. I've never been to a game.
I'll give you the beginning. It's like Bulldog, Bulldogs. Do you know it?
No.
I'll give you the beginning. Bulldogs, Bulldogs.
Bulldogs, Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs.
Well, I'm a cheerleader, so I could actually do the full dance and everything if you'd like me to.
Yes, please.
Hold my bag.
All right. Bulldogs, Bulldogs, bow wow wow, Eli Yale.
Bulldog, Bulldog, bow wow wow. Our team will never fail. When the sons of Eli break through the line.
That is the sign we hail. Go Yale! Bulldogs, Bulldogs, bow wow wow, Eli Yale.
Wow, that was really good. And can you make up any cheers for Yale on the spot right now? Yale kids don't go to jail.
Y-A-L-E, Yale, Yale.
Kill them, kill them, crush them with a sword. Eat Harvard. You suck.
Harvard!
Woo! I don't know. It takes a lot of work to put together a quality cheer. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a long process.
Well, I'm in Davenport, and one of our cheers is beer, beer, beer. We don't have a cheer. Beer, 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 beer.
Go Yale.
If you want to come out to the games and get loud for your fellow Bulldogs, the hockey game is tonight at 7 at Engels Rink, and the basketball game is tomorrow at 7 at Payne Whitney. For YTV, this has been Harrison Tracy and Caitlin Kiker.